Hello, happy Friday. It's Friday and it's halfway through September already, and I cannot believe it. A couple more weeks and it's my birthday, and that's quite scary when I think of that. And especially coming from Australia, where this is actually going into spring, whereas now living in Europe, it's going into autumn. So it's a very, very different way of experiencing this time of the year for me. But I'm really excited, and life couldn't actually be better. So for people who don't know me, I'm Caroline Belinska from e-commerce Backstage Pass. Let me just upload this into my group. I've had a really crazy busy day today, and one thing that I've been doing today is making my calls. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, was about putting that personal touch on. Let me just share this 1 second. Richard, my toes are cold. Why? How cold is it there? It's still warm here in Barcelona, that's for sure. Not as warm as the other few weeks, but it's still okay. Share into a group, e-commerce. Putting a, oops, I'm just going to write this, putting a personal touch on your business. You know, I can't post prior to the actual video going live, so I always have to do it once it's actually gone live. Richard, you're saying it's 50. I don't know what that means, because that's a very American, that's Fahrenheit. So halve it and minus 32, I think, from memory. So it's like, no, I must be wrong. That means it would be like minus something degrees. I think I've got that wrong. It must be, I think it's actually minus 32 and then halve the actual temperature. I can't remember. Yeah, it's probably really cold there. I get it. It is cold. It's not that cold here at all. So here's the thing. I have fog. Ah, okay. Oh, you're on the coastline. Fantastic. Okay, so I have just been on the phone making phone calls. So when I get new leads, and if I've got phone numbers, sometimes I get phone numbers, sometimes I don't. It depends how I collect my leads. And when I get phone numbers, I try to make calls. So my team members actually call as well to touch base with people. But I also get on the phone as well. So every couple of days I try to at least get some phone calls in. And this afternoon I've actually been making calls to people. And it's always really interesting, because so many people say to me, do people really want to hear from you? And I think that's the thing that we as our society now forget, just how important picking up the phone is and talking to someone. We're constantly using email, we're constantly using our websites and videos and things like that, which is fantastic and it allows for so much. But it also means that maybe Richard send that to me privately and delete it from there, because that's on the public thing. But yeah, send me as a private message. So I got on the phone to people today and just asked them, which I always do, get on the phone and just ask them how they're going, if they need any help, if they would like any advice from me, if there's something that they want to talk about, depending on how I got their number, depends on what I call them about. So everyone gets a personal call based on why they actually came to me in the first place and how I collected their phone number. And it just got me thinking, and I thought, you know what? So many people forget that if you have an e-commerce store and you're starting out, if you can touch base with people, especially if you have a product which people can either go and refer other friends to buy from you, or if it's something where they're going to come back as a client, then getting on the phone to them is such a powerful, powerful tool. Like, you have no idea. There's a video that I did, an interview I did recently with Charlie, a colleague of mine, and we did a video together about pay-per-click and about how to make the most out of using Facebook and Google AdWords. And one of the strategies he taught in there, if you want to watch the interview, go to my website, in the top menu, go to resources, and Charlie should be on that page with his video interview, or it's also on my YouTube channel. And one really powerful strategy that Charlie recommends is that he recommends a strategy of free plus shipping. and he explains it really well in the video. But the lowdown is, have a set amount of allocated items. He said cheap items. So if you've got, a $5 product, of course you don't want to do this for a $500 item, but say you've got five $10 items, you put aside a certain amount, you might say $500 worth of product, and you would do a Facebook ad, and you would say on that Facebook ad, it's free, you just pay the shipping. But what he said was that if you want to make this work really, really well, the way it actually works, so it's not just about giving away free stock, you need to have a follow-up call with every single person that you gave away a product to. Two reasons for that. You want to touch base with them on a personal aspect, but you also want to touch base with them so you can ask them for a review, because if you're starting out, then getting a review from that person on your website is really good. And this is a whole nother video about people having review sections on their website but not having any reviews. That's a whole nother topic. But if you can get reviews are so powerful. We buy on Amazon based on reviews, so you need to remember your website needs to have the same sort of thing. So having reviews there is really, really good. So reaching out to people, I think I had a list of 50 people to get today. Half of them didn't answer because they're not answering. It went straight to voicemail, or the call didn't answer. So I think I ended up speaking to about 20 different people. And each call is not very long. Some of them are longer, some of them are shorter, some went for 10 minutes, some didn't go that long. And depending on what you sell, you probably don't need to speak to someone for that long. It's just a matter of, hey, how did you go with the product? Do you have any questions? Did you receive the product? Was it packed well? Do you have any questions about how to use it or what to do with it, whatever it might be? And you will be absolutely amazed how people will find that amazing that you're reaching out. So a couple of the people that I spoke to today were telling me, wow, I don't know how you find the time to talk to me. And then other people were saying, actually, I don't have questions now, but hey, thanks for the call. And they were just surprised that I was calling them and touching base with them. There wasn't one person that said, hey, why are you doing this? I don't want to hear from you. We don't use the phone enough like we used to. So now the phone is not used to the point where people are getting inundated with calls anymore. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, people got a lot of calls. I actually probably get one call a month on my mobile. If someone rings my mobile, I'm like, what's going on? Why aren't you using WhatsApp or Facebook to get in touch with me? So really, unless it's a client saying, hey, we've scheduled a time, I don't expect just random phone calls from people. And if that random phone call is literally reaching out and saying, hey, I just want to know how you're going, and I just would like to know if you have any questions, do you need help? That's a really nice phone call to get. And on Friday, I ended the phone call with, hey, have a really great weekend. Look forward to speaking to you soon. And that's it. That's all it has to be. It's not, about sales pitch. They might ask you a question about something in particular. Then, of course, you go into, this is what I can offer you. But just reaching out to people personally can make a really, really big difference. And Charlie said on that interview that he did with me was, people think, first of all, well, I don't have time. But if you break it down and you say, in Charlie's example, if you gave away 100 items, for instance, let's say it's a $5 product, you gave away 100 of them, that's $500 worth of stock. The person pays the shipping. You have 100 items that you've given away, so 100 people to call. You only need to call 10 people a day over 10 days to actually get through those 100 people. And you have the potential, let's say 50% of them leave a review, that's 50 reviews on your website. Let's say it's 20 people that leave a review, that's 20 new reviews that you have on your website that are going to be much easier to get by reaching out personally. So it's a strategy I recommend. It's a strategy that I recommend not only for reviews, but also for, let's say, it's not about reviews, which it always should be as well in the case of e-commerce, but let's say it's not. Let's say you're just reaching out to say, hey, how did you go? Maybe they can recommend you to one of their friends. The next time they go to a barbecue, if they're going somewhere on the weekend, they'll be like, hey, it was really cool. I bought this product, and the person that owns the company reached out to me and said hello and asked me how I went with it. That's a talking point for people because not enough people do it. It doesn't cost you anything. I was calling from here in Spain today, calling the US. All of my clients are in the US. And I think I called through Skype, and I think it cost me $4. So it's not about costing a lot. It doesn't take a lot of time. And as long as you see it as that you're doing someone a favor, it doesn't even have to be a scary thing to do. It's just a really nice thing to do. I'm just going to read through these messages. Richard, it don't matter to me. I will talk to anyone that wants to talk. I actually have some information for each and every one of them. Okay, that's because I said to Richard about leaving his number there. Even television marketers, lol, but would rather them not call. Yeah, sure, of course. You know, if someone's just calling you up to sell you something, then of course it's, you know, you don't want to be completely sold to. But I'm just going to like those. But it's just nice if someone's reaching out to see how you're going with something. It is a great strategy, and I do highly recommend it. If you really don't want to do it, employ someone. There's companies that you can employ to actually be your telemarketer and call up and you write them the script. So in the case of me, my script today was not about, hey, do you want to buy something from me? These people had signed up for something free. These are not people, none of the people I called today were people that were had bought anything from me, because I have my different lists. I've got a list of people who are paying clients, and I have a list of people that are not paying clients. Not one of these people that I called today did I say to them, hey, what do you want to buy from me? I rang them all just completely with the, hey, how can I help you? What do you need more information on? So it's not about being a telemarketer. It's just about reaching out and making that personal contact. And in this day and age, it can be highly successful. Now, of course, it comes down to how many customers do you have. If you're selling 1,000 items a day, you're not going to be able to reach out to every single person. That would be ridiculous to expect that. But it might be that there's a particular product that you know there's a great upsell at the back end of that you're not going to sell them on that straight away, but you might reach out to them and just touch base and go, how are you going with that product? Do you need some help? And then, you know, follow up with an email of, hey, by the way, I just wanted to let you know about this. So you don't have to feel like you're pushing something on them on a phone call. You can do that via email afterwards. It might be the next email you send them. It might be 2 emails down the track. You might just retarget them. So you might put them into a retargeting list and say, these are the people that I want to retarget with an ad about this particular product, because I've spoken to them and now I can retarget them to sell them something else, which is much more subtle. It's just an ad coming up on Facebook rather than on the phone trying to sell them something. So it's not about being pushy. It's not about trying to push your, you know, sales onto them. But if you do have a lot of sales per day at the moment, which is fantastic, and I'm so happy for you, think of a way that you can reach out to certain people, or maybe you can create just a little video that is dedicated to a particular product that you're selling, and you can send that out to particular people on your list and say, hey, you know, I know you bought this product. You can even go down the path, and I know people that have done this really successfully, where each video the video is all the same, but then they started off with, hey Caroline, how are you? I know you bought my product recently and I just wanted to reach out and say hello. And then all you're doing, you're creating like a 30-second video, and you're just adding 5 seconds extra onto the front of each of them with that, and then you just send it out to people really, really quickly, so you're not having to pick up the phone and spend time on the phone. So there's lots of ways to make something personalized if you don't want to get on the phone, but I promise you, becoming personal with people and getting on the phone and making it a personal interaction is going to be really good for you. So there is food for thought for the weekend. If there's a way that you can call people next week and get on the phone to them and say hello and thank them for buying your product, especially when you're starting out and you're trying to grow your list of people and you're trying to get more reviews, it's a really great way to go. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy whatever you're doing. I was hoping to go paddleboarding tomorrow morning while it's still a little bit warm, but it's going to rain. It's been raining a few days now, so that won't be happening for me. But other than that, I've got some nice events out with friends, so I hope that you're enjoying your weekend, whatever you're doing. And I'll see you back here on Monday. And I've got some news because I'm actually launching my new podcast. It launches on the 27th of September. New podcast with a colleague of mine. We'll be talking everything e-commerce. I also am opening up new places into my program. So if you do want to join my program, please get in touch with me. Let's do a quick call. Let's get in touch. Personal, you and I on the phone. Let's get on Skype and have a chat and we'll work out if my program is right for you. It's fantastic if you're going, if you want to get into that 6-7 figure business, it's all personalized for you, the program. You'll be speaking to me personally every single week and emailing me whenever you need to. So the program is fantastic. Everyone in it so far is blown away with the amount of stuff that they're learning about their business and things that they can implement into their business and how they can succeed online. And it's really taking everyone to that next level. So I'd love to help you out with that as well. If you have any questions for me over the weekend, send me an email or send me a Facebook message, because I check my messages over the weekend as well. Have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Ciao. Bye.